Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumo. Domestic violence is a major problem in marriages. It has become widespread and some sources claim, for instance, that over 30.5% of married women in Nigeria have experienced at least one or more forms of physical, emotional, or sexual violence in their marriages. Inevitably, many writers now use domestic violence as a central theme of their works. Our guest author today is Atinuke Adepoju. Her book, titled Budding Lily, is a novel about domestic violence. It is a compelling read that deftly paints the picture of the horrors of domestic violence while also providing the entertainment expected from a fictional story. Atinuke joined us to discuss her book and things related. Enjoy this. Atinuke, nice to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Budding Lily, this is your first novel, right?
Yes, it is.
What inspired you to write this?
Okay. I actually started writing when I was in 400 level. I studied English, so I wanted to write something. But before then, I'd been writing short stories and plays. But I was going to write a short story as well. So I told a friend, and he was like, hey, instead of writing a short story, why not just keep writing every day? And before you know it, you'd have a novel. So I hit his advice, and I started writing every day, and here we are.
So you always had that desire to put something down.
Yes, yes.
To write something.
Yes.
Great. But I mean, clearly you are a writer on a mission. I always observe that classification.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to fiction.
Okay.
You know, when I'm reading or I'm talking to authors, I'm always wondering, hey, is this the pure entertainer, or hey, is this the writer with a message?
Okay.
You know, writers with a message have a theme that they want to send out. You know, a theme they want to write about.
Okay.
Like in your own case, domestic violence.
Yes.
You know, and all that. So, but pure entertainers just want to write a story that you just enjoy reading. They're not too bothered about. But reading this, I noticed that you are a writer with a message.
Okay.
And the story I found to be really powerful.
Thank you.
What led you along this path?
Okay, I would say when I was in school, then I used to have a neighbor. They were always fighting, like every now and then, and it got to a point.
Were they like married or something?
Yes.
Okay.
They were married. It got to a point we could not even intervene. Like it was almost every day. So while I was writing, I was not going to write about domestic violence actually, but I think that just shaped the writing. And I started writing along that line. But
when you were writing, you were living close to them.
Yes.
And you always observed the fight.
Yes, yes.
Was it
yes.
violent? Was it physical? Or just verbal?
Very physical. Like physical. And it was almost every day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that then, I mean, you couldn't, that kept interfering in your writing.
Exactly.
And then the domestic violence thing,
yeah, exactly.
came up. But okay, there are two angles here,
Okay.
which I would like you to talk about. I would like you to talk about the story in itself.
Okay.
I found the story, on the one hand, the plot was exciting and entertaining and all that. But the message of domestic violence, on the other hand, was very strong and almost always interfering with the entertainment bits because
Okay.
I mean, this will bring tears to anybody's eyes, really.
Yes.
So, tell me about how you manage to balance both together. How do you write with a message in mind, and yet you want to keep, your reader entertained throughout? Because this is fictional, right?
Yes, it is. Well, maybe because I've read a lot of stories, and at some point, if it gets boring, I just drop it. So I didn't want that to happen to this book. I want people to get the message and as well enjoy it. So they don't start and just drop it there. it's kind of boring. Although what is inside is actually real, but it's boring. So I just managed to put the two together while they are reading. Let them enjoy as well.
Well,
Yeah.
Atinuke, you're a single professional. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're a banker.
Yes, I am.
You need to help me out here. How does it work out for you? Writing a story is very difficult. I mean, you've got to, or maybe it's not. You tell me. I think writing a story while you are working, morning, afternoon, you're working.
Right.
How do you sit down to write? How did you write this?
Well, like I tell people, writing is not so difficult for me.
It's not.
No. The only thing I just need is my system. Once I have my system, once I start typing, because I type, that's all. I just need to read the last part where I stopped, and I pick up from there.
You wrote about a marital situation.
And I'm not married, right?
I'm going to you wrote about a marital situation so expertly. Richard and
Lilian.
Okay, maybe for those who are out there.
Okay.
Young married couple, no children.
No.
The man began to physically assault
the
wife. At some point in time, the reader is confused. Does he really love her or not? In the real world, we say no, because once you physically assault your woman, you don't really love her. But I mean, the plot, Richard kept saying he loved her.
Yes, and then
does love her. Yes, and then he will go ahead to violate her and all that. Talk to me about this. Writing this as a single lady.
Okay.
What was it like?
Okay. Let me talk about Richard now, because he's my character. So I think I created him, so I know how he feels. I would say he really loves the wife, Lilian, but he's had an experience prior to the marriage. Like there was someone he really liked.
Lara or somebody
exactly.
like that. Okay.
There was someone he really loved the girl, but the girl was on a revenge mission.
Jilted him.
Exactly. So that got him broken, and he vowed that he wasn't going to love anyone else, not talk of getting married. But Lilian came along the way, and she was looking almost like Lara, the person he loved. So he actually loved her, he married her. So he was thinking that Lilian would probably do the same.
Yeah.
And I think
so he became all very suspicious.
Yes, and violent, thinking that beating her and all that would keep her close to him. He doesn't want her to get close to anybody, even the family member. He doesn't want her to see the mom and all that. He just wants her to be at home, just like a full housewife.
Can you love somebody and still be beating that person up?
Yes.
I struggle with that in my head, because that's a character, the Richard character.
Yes, that's
and I kept asking myself, can you love somebody and keep beating the person up?
It's possible.
It is?
Yes, especially with that couple I told you about, living when I was in school, my neighbors.
That's hard for me to, I don't know whether I agree with you, but
it's possible.
Because I was wondering.
Some people, they have anger management. Anger issues rather. So they need to, get anger management and all that.
Yeah, because every time he finished beating her, according to the story, he would then get very sorry, guilty, sober.
And he could have actually done that to anybody. Maybe his workers, I don't know, not necessarily the wife. But in this case, it is the wife. Some people just get angry, and before you know it, they throw punches and all that. So they can do that to their wife. It doesn't mean they don't love the person.
Yeah, this is a very common issue.
Very common.
Very common,
yes.
Especially in a society where women are not as protected as they ought to be. Of course, it's both ways. Domestic violence is both ways. But I'm more particular about towards women now, which your story is about. What did you find out? I'm sure you must have done a lot of research as well writing this.
Yeah.
What did you find out in terms of how common is it? How rampant is it?
It's very common. Out of 10 women would have like 6 or 7.
Whoa.
Yes, but the issue is they don't say it out, they don't talk. I think it's just now we are beginning to hear about domestic violence because of the social media. But before now, people wouldn't talk about it. Then I had a friend, she got beaten by the boyfriend. It wasn't even a boyfriend.
They're not married yet.
They were not married. And we asked, girl, what's the problem? What happened to your face? She had a black eye and she said she hit her face on the wall. And we were like, but we knew what happened. So people don't really talk about it.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe they are ashamed or something. I don't know. They don't talk about it until recently.
Wow. I mean, it would be nice to have. I'm sure, I've never bothered to really check, but I'm sure there must be some kind of statistics out there. I know there's a unit in Lagos State, for example,
Yes,
that deals with
there is.
domestic violence and all. This is the second book I'm reading on domestic violence in the last 1 year.
Okay.
The other was a collection of short stories.
Okay.
And while I was reading this, I kept remembering
the other one.
The other book, and it's really sad what's going on now. But let's get back to your plot.
Okay.
Your characters. Lilian had a mother.
Yeah.
Has a mother. Let's say has.
Okay.
Has a mother, Deborah.
Yeah.
She has a house help, Mary.
Yeah.
Mary had become like a sibling to her.
Yes.
And then there was also Femi, Mary's brother in quotes, or friend in quotes, who fell in love with Lilian and vice versa. Interesting characters. How did you come up with your characters? I know you told me two were inspired by neighbors you had.
Yes.
How did you come up with your characters?
Obviously, I can't just have two characters. So as I write, I just try to bring in...
Somebody will just emerge.
Yes. And not just somebody, someone that had to the plot.
Okay.
Yes, like Femi, I was supposed to make him just a tutor, but then I thought, let me just twist a bit. He should fall in love with Lilian, and he should be someone she can actually confide into, since the husband was behaving somehow. So that's why I added Femi, and I made her fall in love with Lilian. And about that, I got reviews. People were like, you should have allowed Lilian go ahead with Femi, this and this. And
don't tell them, because when I got to that part, I was wondering how both of them were going to end up. Okay. Are you writing anything again?
Yes, I am.
This is going to continue, right? I mean, you're writing.
Yes, of course, yes.
Has anybody asked you to do a second part to this?
A lot of people, like everybody. I still got a review this morning.
Yeah, are you planning to? You're not sure?
Well, I'm thinking I would just, in the other book I'm writing, I would just mention Lilian and the husband, but not something major.
Okay. This can be a good Nollywood movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that too. Yeah.
Are you thinking of converting it into a movie or something?
Yes, if I get a good producer.
Okay. Writers read a lot.
Yeah.
I've come to realize. What's your favorite type? What kind of books have inspired you the most in terms of you being a writer yourself?
Okay.
Who are the writers that have inspired you? What kind of books have inspired you?
Okay. When I started reading, I started with Sidney Sheldon.
The old Sidney Sheldon.
Yes. Okay. I really like his books. Then Nora Roberts. Okay. Then when I got into school, I started reading literature books. Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, and Chimamanda. Okay. Yeah. So I like stories that are a bit political. Okay. I think there's a bit of politics in this.
Oh yeah, you kept interjecting with a bit of politics there, here and there. Okay, I know
just to make it have social relevance.
Relevant. Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lilian. It's been a pleasure hosting you, and looking forward to your next book.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us on Channel Book.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.